I'm Bill. Welcome to the first edition of Bill's Garage. This is my 2015 Triumph Rocket 3 Touring. She's a mess. She's done about 1,500 miles, been through a couple of rains. So we're going to spend some time cleaning her up today. I'm also going to tear her down, take the saddlebags and everything off of it. I'm going to extend the cable for my battery tender up to the handlebars because I have a USB adapter for my phone to put on it. And I also have Triumph Torques that I got in for it, so we're going to be recording what the mufflers sound on its stock and see how much of a difference the Torques make. I also have a Tune ECU program to put in it that's supposed to improve the performance with the Torques on it. So we'll get started here in a little bit. As you can see, I have a homemade stand under it. It's just a couple of pieces of 2x10 that I cut down to fit. It's about 6.5 inches tall, so it lets me stand the bike up level. I have a jack I can put it on, but it's just I feel it's more stable this way, and it gives me access to both sides for cleaning and the other things that we're going to be doing. So we'll be getting along here in a minute and getting some of this stuff done. I'm going to go ahead and do the teardown as far as getting the saddlebags, the screen, the seat, the sissy bar off of it. We're going to raise the tank up so I can get the cables underneath it, and we'll get this process started. See you in a minute. Alright, so as you can see, I got the bike tore down, I got the tank lifted, and I went ahead and disconnected the battery. At this point you might be thinking that I'm a genius. No, as all good technicians, I bought the manual. Get the manual. So I sat down this morning while I was having my cup of coffee and read it on how to do all this. Came out here, made it a real easy process. The reason for the tank coming up is I've already taken it off, but this is the cable for my battery tender. It's got the plug on the end of it, and connections for the battery. And since the battery's right here under the seat, as you can see, there's no way it's going to reach the handlebars. So I'm going to extend this cable so that I can actually put it up on the handlebars. And I've got this handy dandy little adapter from Battery Tender. It allows me to turn this into a USB, and this will give me the ability to put my phone on charge when I'm traveling if I want to use the GPS on it. The other thing it'll do for me is it'll give me easy access in the future when I want to charge the battery on the motorcycle or put it on the tender for the winter. I was originally thinking about just running a USB cable up underneath the tank and not have to deal with the soldering and the things involved in extending this cable. But my problem with that is then I still got to get to the plug in the wintertime or during the season if I'm not riding to plug the battery tender in. So I just think that a little bit of time spent doing this is going to make life much easier in the future. So I'll be back in just a bit. So the first thing I told you I was going to work on was the cable off my battery tender. And for those of you, I made a trip up to my local Ace Hardware store, and I got some number 12 lamp cord, which is seems to be the appropriate gauge for this. And what I'm doing right now is I'm using soldering paste. Removes the impurities and puts the solder right into the wire. And I'm going to do a butt connection on these. There's a number of ways to connect these wires together. I chose to solder them because I'm fairly good at this. I have 4.5 years of experience thanks to my service in the United States Air Force with Uncle Sam. I was in avionics. So what I did here was I cut the cord and I cut it above the protect the fuse on the cable so that it's going to stay underneath the seat so I can get to it in the future. And this is the ground, and this is a battery tender cable, and they do a really nice job on the inside of it. There's actually a red housing so I can keep my polarity straight. I just have to make sure I get the right side of the cable on there when I do that. I'm not going to bore you with this. There are butt-in connectors that you can buy to do this. You don't have to solder it. I'm just comfortable doing the soldering, and I got, like I said, about 4 feet of 12 gauge lamp cord. I got some heat shrink that will seal the connection after I'm done, and I may get this prepared here in a minute and show you the last one that I do and how this all goes together. But there's a number of ways to do it, but this will accomplish what I need to get the plug up under the gas tank to the handlebar so I can use the USB or still charge the battery and not have to worry about digging the cable out all the time. So, you know, if you're like me, there's never a good place to put it and you're always trying to tuck it away out of someplace. So this is my solution for that, and I'll bring you all back here in just a little bit. Okay, the first 3 ends soldered together extremely well. So I told you I'd record the last one, and since I'm doing that, it'll probably make a mess of it, but so I'll step you through it here. So I want these, I've already tinned these, which means I put them in the paste and I already put solder on the individual cables. So now I'm just going to trim them to give me the same length. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and clean the tip of my soldering iron in the paste. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a touch of solder on the tip of the soldering iron so I have some extra solder on it. So now I'm going to place both ends of this in the soldering paste, and I'm going to hold them basically side by side underneath here, and I'm going to hold them onto the bottom of the iron with the soldering. As you can see, a little bit of smoke. The solder's melted on there. I pull them away and hold them together for just a second, and I now have the 2 wires put together. So I've already let this side cool a little bit. So basically all I have to do now is I will slide this heat shrink over the connection that I just made. This is nice stuff. And alright, now all we have to do is apply heat to this stuff, and it just shrinks right around the cable. So to do that, I'll just take a lighter and just rub it underneath it, and you can see it shrinking up on that side. Now I'm shrinking it up on this side, and I'll turn it over and do the same to the other side. And as you can see, it's forming right to both sides of the cable, a little bit lower in the center where the splices are, and there's my splice on my cable. So I just need to go to the other side, repeat that step, and I just added 4 feet to my cable, and now I can slide it right underneath the tank, and I'll have this on the battery where I have the fuse holder that I can get to, and I will have the plug up at the other end at the handlebars, so I can either use it for my battery tender or I can use it for my USB adapter for my phone. That's all there is to that. So I just finished installing the battery tender cable. The end of it is right here. Oh no, the claw. So I just tie wrapped it right to the wiring bundle going up to the starter switch and everything. Since I had the tank up, there's a wiring bundle that runs underneath the tank all the way back to the side of the motorcycle. So I just put a few tie wraps on there and tie wrapped it to it. You can kind of see it right there where that white tag is on the left side there. And as we come around the bike, everything came out right down here behind the side plate. I just had to take off a couple of the covers, the one holding the cables in place there, and the one right up here covering up the throttle body lines. So I've got the cables there, I've got plenty of slack. 4 feet was perfect, just enough. And I've got the cable where I want it when I need to use it, and I got it tucked out of the way so it's hardly noticeable if I don't have anything hooked up to the bike. So I'm real happy with that.